I'll ask our superintendent to lead us in our.
Heavenly Father, as we come to you tonight, we come to you always asking for your guidance and your wisdom. Lord, as we deliberate and we make decisions that affect our students and our staff and our communities, let us always keep you first and foremost. Lord, we lift up the Clemenzi family as they've lost their patriarch. We ask that you be with Robbie and his family and be with Miss Ashley Clemenzi as they mourn the loss of a father and father-in-law. Lord, we know there's others that throughout our community that have lost loved ones, those that are dealing with sickness and illness, and we lift them all up to you at this time. Lord, we are so thankful that we live in Levy County, and we're so thankful for the good people and the good students we have that work hard each and every day. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. To address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. If everyone's had a chance to read over it, I will accept the motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Any further questions? If not, all those in favor of adopting the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. This time we welcome the public. Any comments? Anybody has any non-agenda items they'd like to bring before us? Like to visit with us? Anyone?
I will share we had 8 comments. 2 were solicitations for business from the district, and then 6 were just general comments.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Seeing nobody here want to speak, we'll now move on to our school presentation from Williston Middle High School. I'm assuming that's you, Mr. Slimp, here to talk to us.
Yes, I'll be real brief. About 3 years ago, we started the Flame. Tanya Taylor started that. Also convinced her to take over the yearbook. She has since taken on some responsibilities at the district level, and it was too much, so I reached out to Candace Hildebrandt to take over. She's a professional photographer, and she jumped right in. And you know, it's a student-run program, and it's a mix between they balance the yearbook, you know, and our daily morning announcement show. That what would you say it averages minute-wise? Anywhere from, depending on what we have.
Roughly 3 minutes. 3
Right.
minutes.
So we were gonna have 2 students, but Caitlin's the one that has showed up, the other one had a track meet. So she's gonna do some talking. I'm gonna let Candace take over, and this is Ms. Hildebrandt, Candace Hildebrandt.
I don't really have anything much to say. Then I had the opportunity to elaborate on what Miss Tanya Taylor created. And it's been really fun to work with the kids and help them learn to build their creativity again. You know, students are very much in their own little world, in their social media world. So it's been a really neat experience just to kind of get them to step outside of their box. And we've run the Flame. Basically, everybody gets to do everything. So we've taught every student how to use the video camera. Every student knows how to be an on-air personality. Everyone knows how to write scripts. And then we settled into our roles that we excelled in, and they kind of run it themselves. We spent the first part of the first semester dealing with that. And then this semester, they're kind of running in the background, and we're dealing with yearbook. So we have a group of students who just want to do nothing but media and broadcasting. And then we have a group that just took the yearbook and ran with it. And we're about a week and a half out from deadline. So we are really digging into adding stuff into the yearbook and getting it finalized. Kate has played dual roles. She continues to play dual roles. She did a lot of videoing and script writing for the presentation that you're going to see. And she's really, really good with design. And in the yearbook, she's really started to shine in her design capabilities. So I'll let her say a few things.
Hi, I'm Kate, and I'm a sophomore at Williston Middle High. This is my first year doing something with media as a school participant, and I've really enjoyed just learning how to grow in this experience. I have a passion for art, and I really would I would really love to learn to grow at a professional level with photography and layout design. And working with Miss Hildebrandt really does that for me. I currently am I'm focusing on the yearbook. I do a lot with that. We do copy, which is paragraphs overall talking about what happened during events. We go from, I'd say we cover everything. We go from I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. We start at just trying to get pictures, and whether we take those ourselves or we gather them from teachers or supervisors. And then once we have that, we pick a layout for specific spreads, which are 2 pages together. And we figure out how that is going to look nice and appealing to everyone. And once we do that, we start working on our copy and our captions and our quotes. And I personally enjoy getting quotes and getting our schools, really just students' ideas to put in the book, because it's not just the kids who are working on the yearbook, but it's everybody's yearbook. So I really enjoy doing that. I love working with everybody. It really is a group effort. I'd say I have a lot to do with it all, but we all collaborate in some way, and all of us are important in it. So yeah. And with the Flame, I have started more focusing on yearbook because we're getting close to the deadline, but all of them, they all have their own talents. They all do their own things, and it really works nicely. And I love seeing them all get together and just share their ideas, and really just seeing how their own individual talents are beneficial to the Flame. So we have that video, and it really does, you can see everybody flourish in that.
I think so too.
So they're highlighting some specific programs at
Yes.
the school?
We have, sorry,
Yeah. No,
we have quite a few programs at our school. We have our Health Academy, where students learn to be a healthcare worker, and at the end of the program, they graduate with a CNA. We have our Junior ROTC, which you're all familiar with that, with the military. We have FFA and a lot of CTE programs, but yeah.
Welcome to Wilson Middle High School. Students here can participate in many different programs that help prepare them for life outside these halls. Today, we'll be showcasing some of those programs. Hello, my name is Shayla. And I'm Case. We are members of the Wilson Varsity Competitive Cheer Team, the only competitive cheer team in Lee County. Follow our school spirit stake through the halls as we explore some of the fun things going on at WMHS.
Hey, Red Devils, it's Tuesday, March 9th. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Flame Set. Please stay tuned for the key announcement. Hey, it's Julian from What's Poppin'. Have you bought a Uber yet? No. Well, you probably should. They're now $75. Here's an exciting COVID event. The first one-shot COVID vaccine was approved unanimously by the U.S. Center for Disease Control for emergency use for people 18 or older. The distribution started on Monday, and the first dose of the vaccine was given. Our bone cancer survivor deals with a lot. But this lady has crushed all of the setbacks and is now going on SpaceX's first private space flight, which should be a breeze for Haley Alpernot. Not only this, but she will be the only Samaritan to go to space. Some people have watched the popular Netflix show Bridgerton, but did you know that tea sales have gone up fortunately for some time? Tea companies such as LaRue, 1680, which their tea sales have gone up by some published with the release of Bridgerton. If you've ever been to Las Vegas on a flight, you may know that there are slot machines set up there. The Texas woman won a big last Thursday with a jackpot of over $302,000. This is crazy, but I think it's just fun that there are slot machines at the airport. That's all I need for today. See ya.
Here we talk about all the upcoming events in on your Wilson, like the Festival of Speed. This awesome car show is going to be showing some of the world's most awesome cars, and this is all going to be taking place May 1st. I definitely know I'm going to be there, so you should come too.
Saturday, the competitive cheer team won at the Daytona Dazzlers for their second year in a row. Way to go, girls. Now we're going to be on the road in April to Disney for Nationals. Can't wait to see how you guys do next month. Also, congratulations to our middle school girls softball team on their 18-7 victory over the Villages. Congratulations to our middle school boys baseball team on their 13-3 victory over Trane. Middle school teams return to action at home next Monday, March 8th versus Fort White, beginning at 5 o'clock. Make plans to come out and support your team.
On March 5th, 1971, Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin was first played live.
Have a good rest of your day.
That's awesome.
Pretty good.
They worked really hard on it.
Okay, tell us how long from taking pictures to developing 2 pages, how long does it take you to? Does it vary or?
Usually it depends on what event it is. For instance, sports, right now we have the baseball season. A Thursday, I took pictures. By Friday, I had them, or Thursday night, I had them uploaded. By Friday, I was working on design. And I finished, I want to say that was a week ago. And I finished we also had a professional picture taken by a separate photography business. I finished that spread today, so.
Can I also say that Kate has a unique ability to see a page in her head or a spread and then shoot for the page. So she knows what pictures she wants to get, which is really how photography and album design and all of that is supposed to work. If you know you're going to build a book for your client, then you know you're going to want to shoot a wedding specific to that book and then what they're going to put on their wall. She has this ability already to just know, this is what I want this spread to look like. I need to get this, this, and this so that I know I can accomplish it. That's really unique for someone who's brand new in design.
Cool.
That's great.
Any other questions? Anything?
So the flame's still every morning?
Oh, yes.
Every morning. So you're recording every day, or do y'all do like all week long for next week, or?
We have a classroom and we usually spend Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in there. And then we spend Tuesdays and Thursdays in our production room. And in those days, because we have our Flame yearbook during 7th period, so we all go in there together and we film Tuesdays and Thursdays, our announcements for the next week. And usually on Fridays, selected people will go and film next week's what we call A's, B's, and C's, which are Good Morning, Red Devils, Stand for the Pledge. Stay tuned for a few announcements. That's all we have for today.
It's great work.
We have a morning announcement form that the teachers all have access to. So anytime they want something posted or announced on the Flame and they want a commercial created or anything like that, they put it on the announcement form. And we have a production manager who manages what goes out and when it goes out and makes sure that there are so many components to just that. We have someone who writes scripts, we have someone who schedules the shows, we have segment writers. So like Julian and his What's Poppin', he has to deliver his script to me by Monday so that we can have it approved on Tuesday and filmed for Thursday's airing because his day is Thursday. Williston Word and Sports with Sage, those are all different segments that they've created and that they gather the information throughout the week for, so that they can put it on the Flame on their day.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
It's the kind of things we do in Williston, Mr.
See that? That's pretty awesome. I give credit. That's pretty cool. And the one boy was popping while sitting there.
He's a jitterbug, for sure.
I thought he was on one of those bouncy ball seats. I was like, okay. Had the cowboy hat riding horse.
There's never anybody in the room other than, the person that's filming and the camera crew. So, and he scripts it himself. And so I never understand why he's so nervous doing it, but it's every single time he's got this bounce going on, like he just needs to get through it so he can get out from in front of the camera. It's really fun.
But it works for him.
It does.
Yeah.
It's his whole thing. It's his
It fit the thing. It fit.
He told me the other day that he just didn't want to be defined by what's popping.
It's worse than. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So y'all want to take like a few minutes to or you're more than welcome to stay. You want to stay?
Yeah,
I just want you happy, Slim.
I appreciate that. Somebody does. I appreciate it.
I don't really. I'm more concerned with the students and the teachers. You
Thank you all for having
Thank
us.
You did a great
Thank you.
job. Y'all were wonderful.
Good job. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you all.
I think y'all need to have Mr. Etheridge come up there and do a little segment on the farm today.
Absolutely.
Sure, I mean,
Last year,
you did? I think you should do it again.
been the superintendent last year.
Come on by.
There you go. There you go. All right.
During career week.
I think that'd be awesome. Okay, we'll move on to the school calendar. Ms. Hires.
Well, good evening, school board, superintendent, and guests. I just want to say, before the calendar, I am so inspired when students come in and present like they did. And some of those were my previous students. And it just does my heart so much good to see giving our kids a little bit more time where they end up and their aspirations. So I just had to throw that in there before we get to the calendar. It's so awesome to see our students engaged in passions that they enjoy. So good evening. And this evening we're proposing a calendar that is focused on what's best for our students, while also providing essential planning time throughout the year for our teachers and our administrators. So each year, our employees appointed by LCEA and the superintendent meet to draft a couple of calendars. And recently we met and we got together and we had employees from every school site. We had some administrators there, district employees, and we drafted Calendar A and Calendar B. At this time, I would like to publicly thank Catherine Davis, who every year she diligently puts in a lot of time in getting these committees together and working behind the scenes. So I just want to say a special thank you to Catherine tonight for all of her leadership. So as we design the calendar, there are some constraints that we have to look at that we must consider in this process. And so some of those include, I'll just name just a few. We have to look at 180 days for our students or the hourly equivalent. We have to look at the testing calendar, specific holidays. School cannot start before August the 10th. We look at Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Thanksgiving. We also, the Fair Week and spring break are always considerations. So we put all of these together. And this year, the employees voted on our two drafts yesterday. And Calendar A was their preference with a vote of 385 to 55. So it was pretty unanimous right there. And so this evening, we're asking for your approval of Calendar A for next year, 2021-22. And I was just curious if you have any questions this evening.
I'm just looking at March, and we always have the fair. Where, is that on here?
Our spring break.
So
Yes.
it falls in the spring break?
No, should be, spring break will be after the.
Should be after.
We developed this calendar before the fair came out with their dates. So our dates fall on spring break.
So the fairs.
The
fair's during
starts
spring
after
break?
the 19th.
Fair is the 8th through the 22nd, I believe is their dates that they just published over the weekend.
Well, I like Calendar A.
We have just a little bit of overlap,
Right.
about 2 or 3 days. Mhm.
You gonna hear why I like Calendar A or Calendar
Why
B?
do you like calendar?
Spring break. Because in reality, spring break, you're just, with it being so early on Calendar B, March 5th, you haven't been back at school very long before you go on spring break. I think we need to get a lot of things accomplished, and I think Calendar A does that with students. It flows better. The break comes at the right time. That's my opinion. Not a teacher, not a student anymore, but that's my thought.
We did have a lot of input for that, and that was one of the considerations. Actually, the committee really did try to work it so that we tried to keep the focus on what was best for students, even the early release days for their exams and how we laid everything out, while weaving in lots of time for the teachers to do planning, mainly in the first semester there, getting that PD, getting those school improvement days in, so they had some time to plan.
Did they know the fair dates before they voted? Did those fair dates come out to them?
They came out over the weekend, yes, and we voted yesterday.
Okay.
A gives 2 full weeks at Christmas and B gives 8 days. Am I correct?
He goes from 22nd to the 10th.
January.
What's that?
We're farther into January.
Right.
Right,
Yeah, B goes from 22nd to the 10th.
right.
Now, I've heard
One of the
this before.
constraints- One of the constraints with those days is that the third has to be a holiday, because by contract, if the first or second is on the weekend, you have to give the third the next day off.
I can remember one time a calendar very similar to this was thrown out there. And in the first semester, that close to actual Christmas Day, may sound crazy, but it does put a burden on some kids and on some teachers. And it also, hey, come on, man, when you're 13 years old and on December 22nd, are you really studying school? You studying Christmas. So to me, it's better. A is better. Now I'm gonna hush.
I make a motion that we approve calendar A.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'm gonna say, I'm just gonna say it. I don't like it. I don't like 1,100 students from Tri-County area spending half of their week in a fair that they spend all year with their project on. I just, and I know we can't build it around the whole thing, and I know it's only partial week, but they end up with that from this week, which is the week, not the prior week, but they spend from Friday out of school till Wednesday at the sale. So there is no spring break. They got Thursday and Friday after the fair's over with for their spring break. So but that's a personal thing for me. So I understand that
Yes.
and I appreciate everybody's work with it. It's just that, I don't like spring break in the fair. So, I mean, and I have can value my own opinion. I know there's a lot of working things within that. So
Yes, sir. No doubt.
what happened to the week in between that? So we went from the 5th through the 13th, and then we started from the 19th to 22nd. Is there testing during the 13th through the 19th in there that week?
On calendar A, is that what you're looking at?
What we try and do is we try and break up the days where the 9 weeks are very similar days amounts, 45, 44 days between. So that's where part of that is. So, and then having teacher work days. So that was another issue that.
Oh, okay. There's a whole week between the 14th and the 18th. That's between the A and B for spring break, but the end of the third week's at 18. But if we do it through 5th through 13, it's still during the middle of 9 weeks, right? Okay, I don't want to be controversial. If there was a way to work around it, but
And I will say that this calendar was developed before the fair dates came out. So we tried to take into account what it was this year, and we tried to put it at the same time. And that was how the calendar committee worked the process. So I fully understand. And as a person who's competed at the fair and been involved in the fair, I know there's a lot of education that goes on there. I do feel like for the majority of people, this is the best calendar that we could present to you all.
Is it, and I was running off the assumption, and you kind of alluded to it, I was assuming that this calendar was developed based on the current fair situation. You go, well,
We did.
The sale day is the
Yes,
17th
sir.
this year, so you go, well, it's gonna be the 16th this coming year if everybody stays the same.
We tried to follow the
Is it-
pattern.
Is it possible moving forward? And I appreciate what Mr. Etheridge is saying. Is it possible moving forward, just as we are responsible to get a calendar out and we try to accommodate the fair, is it possible to talk to the fair and go, hey, can you accommodate us too?
I will say that I believe our other districts that participate in the fair, their spring break is usually the week of the fair. So not that we do things just.
Yeah.
So,
But I fully understand where he's coming from too. I've been there.
and
And you know, I will make that an issue for next year to contact them to see if we can't get a date earlier.
It's usually the third week. Usually always the third week. Ends, I mean, starts at the end of the second week and the show and sales the third week, usually always in March. Same way it falls this year. But, I mean, that could vary, I guess. I didn't mean to cause all this. I know there's a lot of hard work and I didn't want to belittle by any of the work.
No, I don't think anybody's taking it.
no,
no.
that way, Mr.
Yeah.
Etheridge,
No,
we
not at all.
value your opinion, and we understand.
It's more than, we're dealing with a school issue, but there's more to that than just a school issue. I mean, if it's spring break next year, I'll have a student in class, so therefore I probably won't be there Wednesday at the sale to help support the way we always have because we'll be off on our spring break, right? I mean, there's multitudes of it. We lose a lot of our people who go help support because they're going on vacation during the week of spring break. And the $1 million that they donate to our kids to go towards their college educations and all those other things. So it's more than just the week is what it's not the vacation part of it. I mean, it's all of it together. So.
I guess the fair wouldn't take up the notion of changing the dates, would they? Look
It's
at,
been the third week of March since.
okay.
And I do want to
But-
say that I agree with Brad 100%, and I've certainly voiced that numerous times, but I did make the motion, I agree, because of the majority of the vote, and that, you know, that's what everybody wanted, and that is majority of the vote, but it really is an important part of our area and our community.
And I will reiterate that moving forward, I certainly will try to check with the fair committee
Well,
early.
I fully understand where you're coming from. And when you go with if we look at it blindly and go, like you would have to do to make this county, you go, well, the third Wednesday is the 16th. Now it's the fourth Wednesday. So, you know, it's a gray area. So it's not Lee County School Board that moved. The fair moved, I think. But
The fair moved what now?
No.
currently, they're going to have the sale on the 17th, this
Third
current
week.
year, which is the third Wednesday of March. Next year, the sale will be on the 23rd, which is the fourth Wednesday of March. We did not move. Fair moved. Not that they don't have the right to do it, not that anything's wrong with it. You know, I'm just saying, moving forward, we can't do anything about it today.
Right.
Moving forward, a dialect between the Fair Association and the 3 districts that surround that area would be great. That's what I think. And it would settle it. That's what I think.
Appreciate you.
Right. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
You know why they do that?
Ma'am.
Why would they do that? Let's move it to the 23rd.
No.
Kaylee Wade has come forward.
Good evening, Board Chairman.
Good evening, Mrs. Wade.
As you know, the federal government back in April of 2020 passed legislation for employees to receive COVID days or days paid and related to COVID. They had it expire December 31st, but as we know, COVID did not go away December 31st. So the negotiating team for the school board and the LCA worked together on a proposal, and I'm here to get your approval. It was voted on by the members on Thursday, and they approved it. So let me go over this just a little bit, and then if you have any questions, please stop me in the middle.
So anybody that had taken their 10 days before December 31st will not get additional days. So it's a cumulative. If somebody used some of those days before December 31st and had another event afterwards, they can use the balance. We will approve some remote work. This is really intended a lot for instructional teachers, especially if their whole classroom is quarantined. It's better to have our teacher instructing our students even remotely than having a sub, and so that's our purpose in there. It will have to be documented, it'll have to be approved by the work site supervisor, the principal, and then documentation will have to be given to Marla and I for approval. If an employee is in a situation where they've used all of their days, their COVID days, they've used all of their leave, and they are diagnosed with COVID or put on school quarantine, we will not dock their time. So we don't want anybody to go without pay if possible. If there is a budget shortfall, by any means, we will negotiate this. Just in case we don't know what will happen. We will retroactive this back to January 4th. Payroll and I will begin working on this after we have approval and make sure that everyone is taken care of back to that time. So are there any questions?
This requires action.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move the memorandum of understanding. Does it have a number?
It does not, just an MOU.
Between the Levy County Education Association and school board on the COVID days agreement.
There you go. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions, any comments? I think it's awesome y'all work together on this. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wade. Now move over to our board minutes from the 23rd. There is one change already been made with the expulsion recommendation. We scratch Principal Matthew McClellan and Nikki Ebert was here. I also noticed in the regular session minutes, it shows that I was here. I was unable to be here. So it's scratch me off of there too. If you've all had time to read over it with those changes, I will accept the motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and second to the amendment, the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any changes to the consent or the addition to agenda? You want to go first in this one?
I spoke with Mr. Coward already, and all my questions have been answered.
Very good. Mrs. Brookins?
I think our consent agenda was short and everything's been done. Answered that questions.
All right. Please, Mr. Etheridge, have a question.
It may be that this is simple, and it may be mislaid, but the change order for Parrish McCall, for what's the change order?
That involves the direct purchase, so, and then reflecting, showing the savings.
Okay.
Savings. That's great.
You can afford that air conditioning for the gym, maybe.
That's right. It's in there.
Anything else? All my questions are answered. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda and the addition to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on. Mr. Superintendent, any comments, recommendations?
I just want to say to tack on to that cost savings, so we're up to $150,000 of savings. They're being able to go back into that project. So Miss Ann, who's contracted with, and Miss Charette, kind of pushing through purchase orders. So they're coming fast and furious. And things are going well over there on that project. Just a couple things. Cedar Key High School poultry placed fifth in the state. So we've got a poultry team with the FFA in Cedar Key, and so they'll get to grace the stage. And then just kudos to Mrs. Good's class at Lonson Middle High School. So had an opportunity to go over there where all the students had the opportunity to get their Levy County library card, which we'll be rolling out to every campus where they'll be able to go, and put out a little challenge to her, all of the classes, but her class had the challenge of reading 2 books by the end of February. And if they did that, they earned ice cream. So I'm happy to report that I had to pay for 13 ice creams, so, which is a good thing. But just kudos to Ms. Hood in that class. So appreciate that. So, and then the last 2 things. So, you know, we had the foundation, we had the Beast Feast at Etheridge Produce, and got a card last week. It's from Brian Williams from Folks Run, Virginia. And it says, hello. A few weeks ago, as we were driving through Florida to our vacation destination for Virginia, we followed the signs to the Beast Feast. We had an amazing time. Everyone was so nice and welcoming, and the food was amazing. It was truly an unexpected blessing in our trip. One of the highlights. We talk about it all the time. Great job, Levy County. Thank you, the Williams family. So
That's nice.
just thought that came, so, and shared it with the foundation on Monday. So kudos to board members. So obviously, Crab Bisque was excellent, so we didn't talk about that. And then the last thing is Miss Carol. So we celebrated CTE, and continuing on with that, the wastewater kids have gone on field trips to Chiefland. They've also had Mr. Shane Keene come from the city of Chiefland and speak to their class. And today they went to Cedar Key, and Mr. James McCain did a wonderful job. So those 6 students just really are enjoying that class and seem to be excelling. And we are the guinea pigs in this. So the other county that was going to do this dropped out. So just think it's a wonderful thing that our kids are able to be a part of. So, and my last one, it slipped by me, but we had a student last year that graduated from Williston Middle High School, and she's attending school down at St. Leo. And she was afforded the opportunity. She's in the hospitality management program at St. Leo. She worked the Super Bowl. And not only did she work the Super Bowl, but she took several pictures, and she was quoted in a wonderful article that I want to share with Mr. Slimp, so that Williston Middle High School, that maybe when she's on home on spring break, will be a good student for us to interview and talk about some opportunities for our kids as they leave our schools. So, and with that, I'm finished.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. And now move on to board comments. We'll start with you again, Ms. Ball.
I don't have anything urgent. The FFA did today, they did a cemetery cleanup field trip. So they did that today with Mrs. Weatherington. And I was down there yesterday for the SAC meeting to discuss the summer program that the city helps with, the youth program, and just kind of brainstorming ideas. And they're going to make it Olympic themed, which is kind of neat. And they'll be able to take in 100 kids. So that'll run 6 weeks. And some of the art center in the community participates as well. So some of the students can go and do art and then come back with us, and we're working out a curriculum so the kids kind of learn and they don't know they're learning. I'm going to trick them into it now. But that's it.
Cool.
Looking forward to that.
Mrs. Rookie.
Well, no, Brad will elaborate some on too, but it is the fair week, and all the hard work that all the kids are doing, and seeing all the pictures and all the great things that they are doing. And it really is an educational experience and something that they'll never forget their entire lives. And it is real community effort and what everybody puts into it. And I think that's wonderful. But it's also the teachers and the leaders and the time and the parents that they put in. So that's a big deal. And then another big deal is that Chief on baseball beat Williston. Did you hear about that? And then once again, just mention just the terrific progress that school is doing. It's just unbelievable. We're just continuing to work, and it's just fabulous. And I even talked to one of the students for several this week, and they don't mind the construction disruption. They said there's noise, but they love it because they're just so excited about everything that's going on. They're just so interested in. So it's all great, and it's wonderful to hear about the savings too, and that, you know, we get more things for the school, so it's great. Thank you, that's all.
Mr. Etheridge?
I had some positive things and she got me off track. But yeah, you know, and I want to apologize a while ago about that with the calendar, because I get tunnel vision sometimes whenever we start doing there, because there was only two things I wanted to talk about tonight. And, you know, as we realize who we are and what we are within the county and the successes that we have, I think sometimes we need to open our mind and expand on those successes. And there's no doubt that our CTE program is one of the most successful things we do, and we're one of the most successful counties in the state and some in the country also. If we start looking at what's been done nationally, I just, you know, when we get that fair, I always, you know, I was raised a banker's kid, and I do what I do today because of the fair. So we start thinking about the opportunities of there or not or missed. You know, if I wasn't there, I would be doing what I'm doing now. And so it's really important to me, and I get defensive sometimes about it, and I don't want to take that way, because you never know where that opportunity takes one of those kids when they get there, and drives their interest level. And so all that said, I apologize, but I don't apologize, because I'm going to defend it as long as I'm here. So, because I think it's important. Not the animal's just the tool. It's just the tool. Not very many of them are going to do what I do, but some of us have to do what we do. So, and the other part of that is, you know, as we go along, we always have plenty to do and put on a list. But I would really love for us to, and Miss Carol does a wonderful job through the years, but a brainstorming idea of where we go with our tech programs, CTE programs, as we, you know, look at these successes and help grow them. And we know out from our standpoint as a board what that means. But I was just talking to some people from Wakulla County last week, which are, you know, they're a little more rural than we are, but I look at some of the opportunities those kids are having. HVAC, electrical, a lot of things that are doing within our county that, you know, and I know they're probably a one school county, and which makes it different than us, but we can't dream, or we can't set those goals and visions unless we put a focus on those. Maybe some of this extra 150,000 that's rolling out of the capital improvements and the funds and stuff could help go towards things like that to help Chiefland students catch up to where we're at in Williston. That's it, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna end with that one.
Fine job.
Thank you.
Can I?
Please. Please.
Two things. I know people in the past have talked about the masonry and Dean Hooker at Chiefland. And I know that was a part of the vision and the future at the College of Central Florida, and unfortunately do some funding cuts with them, whether it was COVID related or whatnot, but they pulled that. But not to steal anything, but we are having discussions on other programs out there that we can bring there. And I had a meeting, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, with Rusty Skinner from Career South on some things that we can do to bring to our students here. So we're definitely, and Ms. Carol has feverishly been helpful. One of the things we have to do is every 2 years is that critical needs. And so for us to start new programs, they have to be a part of last year's critical needs. And so we'll have 1 year to go through before we do that again, because they do that. So that's my one. I appreciate it, Mr. Chair. And my other thing is, I'd be remiss with Ms. Clemenzi is we have 3 former SANDAPs in the house. So just to kind of point out, so we've got Ms. Dormley back there, Ms. Watson, and obviously Ms. Carson here. So I know Ms. Clemenzi would have pointed that out. So that was nice to have 3 SANDAPs in the house.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Fantastic. Well, I'll start off by saying, Ms. Boyle, I have more class than Ms. Brookins. I won't mention how bad Bronson beat Cedar Creek in baseball. We'll just let that slide. We're classy in the Sand Hills. Okay? And we also raise them tough in Yankee Town and in Yankee Town and Bronson. We don't need air conditioning in our gyms. We tough. All right. The only other thing I have a question for you, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes.
I didn't know if you had any knowledge on the bill that is being proposed concerning Bright Future Scholarships that was recently thrown in there that kind of pick certain careers that money will go to instead of just getting an education?
I have, it's on my radar. I will show with you right here. This is 24 pages front and back of all the educational bills that I'm tracking right now. But yes, sir, it is on my radar. I know my thoughts on it, and I know that there's people with great intentions, and as we go through session, I hope the stance softens where we can come together and see some common ground on where we don't limit a student.
Thank you, sir. I've seen great intentions that are not for the better
Yes, sir.
of the situation. But I bring that up because right now I think graduation coaches are doing a good job getting information out to these kids. We're in the middle of scholarship applications. And I'm gonna kind of jump on something Mr. Etheridge says. At this point, we always point out scholarship opportunities, scholarships. Don't forget vocational education. There's scholarships for that too. That's continuing education. And I think we're doing a good job on that. And as far as the water treatment thing, yeah, I found out after he'd gone to the field trip. Because I was asking you something about classing. I don't know, I had a field trip. They are thoroughly enjoying it. It's hard. I saw some of it and I was like, hey, it's hard. It's hard. Anyway, that's all I have. If that's all the business we have tonight, anybody else? None. Meeting adjourned.